Hey, Lacey, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's Goodman. I'm at Channel 93.3 in Denver. Where are you right now?
We're in the middle of somewhere on the way to Florida.
Well, listen, let's get right to it. We were doing great with this song, All Around Me. It's a great song. And for those that don't necessarily know the background of the band or know your history, I mean, you can listen to that song and people kind of think, oh, well, that's a great love song. It's maybe about my boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or something. But obviously, this song has a little deeper spiritual meaning for you guys. Do you get that a lot? Like people that think the song means one thing, but you had a different meaning when you wrote it?
Yeah, that happens with almost every song we have. There's because well, a lot of it is, I think, good in a way because it makes you have to think deeper about what we're writing, and then the people that do, they're the ones that relate. And then when we look out in the audience and we find the people that understand what we're talking about, it's just that I don't know, you just connect with them. But then again, sometimes I think that to myself, if I have to explain the song, maybe my lyrics weren't good enough.
No, I mean, I get the song after now. I know that you guys are, but when I first heard it, I was like, wow, that's a really great love song. And it is a love song, but it's not necessarily a love song about your wife or boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, you know?
Yeah, and that's what's so good about it. And I think the key that I put in there is about how I'm alone with you and they are too with you. It's like one of the only ways that I can be alone with someone, and then everyone else can be alone with them too, is if it's just talking about God, somebody who's omnipresent. So anyway, so it's kind of like the people that catch it are, it's really cool. But then other times it's still good because I don't know, just that feeling. Just the feeling of the song hopefully comes across in the melody, and that it's something beyond some normal, everyday love. I don't know. That maybe not. I don't know.
Well, you guys are in kind of an interesting spot because you have your roots in some spiritual stuff, and you got a lot of fans of Christian rock that like you guys because of that. But you also have, I'm sure, tons of fans that hear you and that aren't necessarily call themselves Christian. They just kind of like your music. You must be noticing that all the time when you're playing, right?
Well, it's like most of the crowd that we play in front of, none of them are really religious people. Like the difference, I think, is like I love what Bono said about it. He says, religion is what happens when God leaves the room. And I think that's important, is that to me, it's not some set of rules that separates people or regulations or condemnation or anything like that to make you feel better about yourself and other people. But it's about, like, just really universal kind of love for everybody. And just like, I guess, when you look out in the audience, I don't see, oh, that's a Christian or that's not a Christian. I see a bunch of people, from my view, that God created.
Before you guys were named Flyleaf, you had a bunch of different names. I think there was I was reading you had 4 or 5 different names the band went through. What were some of the names, and how'd you come on the name Flyleaf?
Well, we actually had to cancel a couple of tours that came up. We were missing them because we didn't have a name for a little while because the guy, our band name used to be Passerby. There was a guy out that trademarked the name, and he was saying that we couldn't use it. So we tried to, work it out with him, but it didn't work out, and so we just sat at home and just, full days of trying to figure out a name that everybody would agree on. It was really hard. And so we put a bunch of cool words in a Tupperware jar, and we're pulling names out and pulling words out and putting them together and trying to figure out something. And originally it was Carbon Flyleaf, but then there's a band called Carbon Leaf, and so we just left it at Flyleaf, and I knew it was going to be taken. I almost didn't even mention it to our manager. I was like, oh yeah, and Flyleaf. That was like the last one. She's like, I like that. I'm like, yeah, but it's probably taken, so we'll see. And it wasn't.
It's funny. There's so many bands out there now that literally, yeah, it's hard picking a name. It's not easy like it used to be. I mean, all the names have been taken, it feels like, you know?
Yeah, even bands that, even if it's just a good band name and there's not a real band, somebody trademarked it, so you have to buy it from them.
Right, totally. Your voice is amazing. You got a really unique sound, and you've got this real feminine kind of unique voice, yet there's a part of you, when I listen to that album, and I can hear you screaming and wailing away. I'm wondering, is there any sort of special voice exercises, or what do you do to kind of keep yourself from straining? Like, you sound a little strained right now. You must get sore throat after a show, I'm sure.
Well, I stay pretty strained, I think, normally. I mean, when we first started, for the first 2.5 years, I think, that we toured consistently, I was fine, and it was normal, and then, I was reliable. My voice was real reliable, and then recently, the past few, I don't know, probably a year or so, like one day I got sick, and then I continued to sing, and I threw my voice out because I was sick, and then I went to the doctor, and she was like, did you know something was wrong with your vocal cords? I was like, yeah, I was pretty sure. And she's like, and you continued to sing? And I was like, well, it's my job, She's like, not for very long.
Wow.
So I was like, whoa. So we had to take a little bit of time off, and then we got back on the road, and they taught me a little bit about taking care of your voice a little bit. But
well, is there like one thing that you do specifically that saves you after a show or before a show? Is there any like routine you go through?
I was going to come back to just praying. Like, I really think, I don't have, there's been so many times where I don't have a voice. I step on stage, it's there, it come off, and it's gone again. And it happens over and over again, which is kind of weird. Like, I don't feel like, and I know people don't like it when I say this, but I don't feel like I'm really especially gifted in singing specifically. I think that I just get up there, and the moment I need it, it's there, and then every other time, I just feel like I'm trying to just pull out some kind of deep part of me and express it, so that maybe I explain someone else to themselves, or explain something that somebody couldn't say in music, But I think that may be what I feel like I really do up on stage, besides singing. It's weird that it comes out the way it does. And sometimes I'm shocked when I'm listening to it in the monitors. I'm like, wow, that's me. It doesn't even sound like me,
A lot of the stuff about you guys and about your life, Lacey, is you had a pretty rough upbringing. I mean, you didn't see eye to eye with your mom, and you ended up leaving home and going to live with your grandma.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want, if it's too personal, but do you still talk to your mom at all, or have you reconciled with her? Yeah, you do.
Me and my mom are great, and my mom had a crappy time. I mean, we all got dealt bad stuff in life, and my aunt, she's always saying, my mom's sister, she's always saying, oh, don't give me that crap about your childhood. Not to me, but just about everyone. Just because everybody's childhood sucked. They had to grow up that way, and you deal with it, and then you learn from it. And then, that's suffering produces character. Character produces perseverance and hope and all that, So it depends on which way, you can go either way. But
so your mom, I take it, has been to a couple shows, right?
Oh, yeah, she's super proud, and it's been an amazing time for us, especially recently. We just all struggled growing up. My mom was a single mom of 6 kids, and she had a lot to deal with, and started when she was 15. When I was born, she had 2 kids at 16. So I know, she had a lot to deal with, and we've all grown a lot from all that mess that we were thrown into.
I was going to ask you that. I mean, you guys are doing great right now, and things have definitely, you guys are on everyone's radar right now. But you guys, the band's been around for a little while, and there were times when the band was struggling. I'm wondering, what's the biggest difference between the Flyleaf now and then kind of when you were doing the underground scene throughout Texas kind of thing?
We just got off tour with Family Values, playing in front of 20,000 people. Like every city was just so many people, and then the quality of just how we were treated and how the equipment was and everything is just excellent. It's corn. They've been doing it for 12 years, so of course we got a little spoiled on that and we didn't realize it till we got off the tour. We played last night at this place in the middle of nowhere, South Carolina, and there's so many holes in the stage, and the PA is just not there, and it's the tiniest place, and it felt just like when we first started, and we just had to just get up there and mean what we did, no matter what it sounded like, and that's an amazing feeling to go back to that place, just remembering, oh yeah, this is how we started, this is why we did it, just because it was what we meant to do, we're just doing what we mean, I don't know, no matter what it sounds like or how the circumstances are or what the crowd said.
Was there anything you miss about the old life? I mean, I know it was probably a little rougher and you had to kind of rough it a little bit more, but I don't know, as you looking back, is there any weird things that you miss about it?
There's a lot of things that you miss, just cooking food, cooking dinner, and going to sleep in your bed, and being able to just drive wherever you want to go, just being home, period. That's a big deal. And then playing in front of people that you love and that are out there, And the worst part about this is that you can't stay in touch with everybody. And when you're at a show and you see them, they're all at the same show. So you can't give anyone your attention, too much of your attention, because there's so many of the people that came to your shows before. And you want them to know you appreciate them, but then everybody's there at once. It's just, that's hard. But I totally missed that one-on-one with our fans, just getting off stage, nobody recognizing you. You got walk over your merch booth, and they're like, "What's your band again?" "Oh, this is a cool shirt. Here, I'll buy it." You know, and you sign it for them, and they're like, "Cool, man." They don't even care. So
when I was reading this here, when you're growing up and your first experience with music, you were really into Green Day and Nirvana, and that was like the first stuff you were listening to and playing bass guitar to. And I'm wondering, I mean, being a female lead singer, there was no female lead singers that you look up to that you were really digging at the time?
Not really. I remember when the Alanis Morissette came out, I remember thinking that was pretty cool that she was so, like, I don't know, really, because there's not a lot of female fronts that just lose themselves when they play, you know? They're just, that isn't an entertainment or a show. It's just like, this is my crazy self, you know, falling apart in my music in front of you. It kind of felt like that with her. I saw that a little bit. No, I did, I just thought we just got off tour with Evanescence and talking to Amy Lee, and she was like talking about how Bjork was a big influence for her, and she actually got me some CDs of Bjork because I never really listened to Bjork growing up. And normally I'm not really into like dance music or like that kind of stuff, but the thing about Bjork is just what I like about Amy Lee, is that she just kind of loses herself and really means it, you know? So.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, here we are in 2007, and I think about you, and I think about Amy Lee of Evanescence, and, you know, there's a couple other bands, like Girl from Paramore. The Paramore's really doing great right now, but there's still, in 2007, there's not a ton of female rock acts out. I mean, it feels like the South in the 60s, you know what I mean, where things are still real segregated. It's still a dude's world in rock music, you know?
I heard Corey Taylor talking about this from Slipknot, and he was saying metal is the last thing that we have as men that are out. You know, and me and Corey, we're good friends, and I brought that up to him, like, so, you know, so I heard you say that metal is for men, and it's the last thing, you know, it's like, it is, and he's like, roar, you know, just because it's true. It's like, I don't know, just that women tend to have this feeling like they have to be aware of how people see them, and this reserve kind of in a way about like their persona, you know. I don't know, like more than men. And men, you know, men are stinky and they don't care and they'll scream, and you know what I mean? Yeah, and it's the fourth day since I've showered, so.
You're more of a dude than a dude right now.
Well, I grew up kind of, I don't know, rough, and I didn't get my mom. Like I said, my mom was a single mom. She did whatever needed to be done, and there was no complaining, and there was no whining, and there was no, like, you know, like prissing. There's no prissiness growing up that way because we all had to survive, and you know, so that's kind of the way I still feel about it.
All right, last question, because I know I've been on the phone with you too long, but it's been nice talking to you. But last question, you got a song on the album called Cassie, and we're here in Denver, obviously, right in Columbine High School's backyard. Have you ever heard from anyone in Cassie's family that they've listened to that song, or have you talked to them at all?
I haven't talked to Cassie's family specifically, but we did meet with the youth group that she was involved in, and all those kids are just, gosh, it's just amazing to see how it grew and how passionate they are about what they believe in, and how they really revere the story, just not in a way that like idolizes anybody, but just makes them feel like that it's okay to stand up for what you believe in, when in a day and age where kids won't stand up for what they believe in if it costs being embarrassed or feeling like they're not going to fit in. Like a lot of times it has to do with their faith. It's an extreme road to go against everything that you're taught, you know? And like for her, it was like the utmost of, I don't know, just standing up for what she believed in, because it was going to cost not embarrassment or anything, just her life. And they say, you know, I've heard there's reports where that didn't really happen, you know, which is really, you know, those kids in the youth group are really, you know, saddened by that, you know. And it's hard to believe to me that the farther away we get from the story, that the truer that the story would come to light. I just don't know. It seems like the closer it is, it would be truer. But the thing about it is, even if it's not true, it happens all the time, and the story still inspirational. It's just that does happen.
Well, listen, Lacey, it's awesome to talk to you. I love the song. The album's great, and best of luck to you. And we'll see you next time you're in Denver, okay?
Sorry, I blabber on a lot.
Oh, no, that's okay. I like to hear you just kind of stream of consciousness talking about stuff. It's great.
You asked great questions for it.
Well,
so.
thank you. Take care, Lacey. We'll see you soon.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.